Well, what was billed as a heavyweight title fight between two legitimate NBA championship contenders turned into a dud, starting with Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and Christian Brown all sitting out. And then the Warriors matched that energy. They didn't show up tonight. And when they did, it was far too late. The shooting was non-existent. The good news is, despite an egg being laid on a Monday of all days, Sophia Jones and I are going to hopefully bring you some positivity. Let's at least try and have some fun. Again, that was rough. What can you do? Enjoy the new open, folks. It's the Golden.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win.
I do my best to do what everybody wants, and that's to win a championship.
Let's go. In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up.
Welcome to the Golden Days. I'm one of your two hosts for the evening, Cyrus Saatsaz. Joining me is Sophia Jones. You can follow her on Twitter at Sophia Jones_2. You can follow me, Cyrus Saatsaz, on Threads and Instagram at Dog Wild, over on Twitter at Surf Journalist. The program's on both platforms at Golden Days Pod. We'll get to the sponsors in just a minute, but first and foremost, Sophia, how are you doing? And your immediate reaction on a happy St. Paddy's Day to the Warriors losing a very rough one. That was ugly. There's a lot to break down. A final score of 114-105. Sophia, good to see you. Your reaction and how you doing?
I'm doing well, and my initial reaction is that the Warriors came out way too flat. The Nuggets took advantage of that. They just came off of a awful loss to the Washington Wizards, so were in need of some redemption, and that's exactly what the Nuggets got today. And the Warriors, just no matter how many tries they tried to go onto a run, the Nuggets always responded. So it was really that hole that they dug themselves into at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, they dug themselves into a big hole, and there were quite a few things that just did not look good in this game that the Warriors, I feel, could have corrected, mistakes that they could have not. That in hindsight, they should not have made, plain and simple. Even Stephen Curry had a bad game. None of the players are shooting tonight. I think collectively as a team, the Warriors finished the game 8 of 33 from beyond the arc. That's 24.2% shooting. And it gets uglier when you look at the quarter by quarter and half breakdowns. First half of this game tonight, the Warriors shot just 4 of 19 shooting from deep, which counts for 21.1%. That is awful. In the third quarter of this game, the Golden State Warriors were just 1 of 6 shooting from deep. That's 16.7%. And then in the final quarter of this game, the Warriors were finally doing a little bit something there. There were 3 of 8 shooting from deep, but that was not enough. And again, there were a lot of individual performances we need to break down. First and foremost, though, let's give some love to our sponsors. And if you're a part of the audience tonight and you're disgruntled, I get it. That sucked. I'm restraining myself from just blowing my top right now because there were a lot of things that just that pissed me off to no end. But let's give some love to our sponsors real fast. We got 2 for the evening. First and foremost, visit Humboldt. Look, this is all about one of the most beautiful regions on the planet. It's a damn perfect getaway, especially if you're part of over half the audience, which is based in Northern California, whether you're in the Bay Area, Sacramento. We're talking about one of the most beautiful drives on the planet. Is 3 to 4 hours. And the last hour of it is particularly incredible. It's like you're driving through an enchanted forest, and then you end up in this outdoor paradise that is known as Humboldt County. I formerly called the place home when I was a student at Humboldt State University, which they now call Cal Poly Humboldt. I'm never going to get over that. But regardless, just go to visithumboldt.com if you want information on places to stay, things to do, whether it's breweries, whether it's wineries, whether it's hiking trails, whether it's just an adventure for the family, for yourself. It's incredible. It's the time of your life. Go enjoy. thank me later. Reach out to me if you want advice from me. I'll hook you up. Again, just DM me either on Instagram or Twitter. My Instagram handle is at dogwild, Twitter at surfjournalist. I'll happily give you a good list of things to do. Go check it out. And again, thank me later. Tonight's episode also brought to you by BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform. The Warriors came into this game, I believe, 7-point favorites. Obviously did not cover. They got their, not only did they not cover, they got their asses whipped. So if you bet on the Nuggets and the money line, congratulations. You could also get in on the action with March Madness. College hoops is here. Have fun. Bet online, the world's most trusted betting platform. The game starts here. And Sophia Jones joins me. Before we get back into the Warriors, just because I feel like any other topic is more positive to discuss, you cover the UFC Dons. They're going to the NIT, the men's team, correct? I don't think the women's team made it. Update the audience, please.
Yeah, so the USF, University of San Francisco Dons men's basketball team, they're competing in the men's NIT, which is basically that postseason tournament right under the NCAA. And so since they didn't win the conference tournament or weren't an at-large bid, they then are now in the NIT, and they have a number 1 seed for the region. So that basically means that they're one of the favorites to come out. So some of the games will be here on the hilltop at home, I believe the first 2 rounds, and then it'll go to a neutral site.
And you're a former point guard for San Jose State University, the Spartans. How is your alma mater doing? I don't see them in the tournament often. Any change this year?
The men's team is also in the NIT as well. They're a 4 seed in that same San Francisco region, so that could potentially be a matchup, one that we don't see that often. I'm kind of hoping for that. It would be nice to just see the teams compete.
That would be nice. Now, what is not nice is the Warriors and what happened tonight. Look, again, last minute, Nikola Jokic bows out. Jamal Murray bows out. I know Jamal Murray had the ankle issue. I forgot what Nikola Jokic's injury situation was. Christian Brown also misses the game. And unfortunately for the Warriors, you saw a lackadaisical approach to start this game. Clearly, the urgency was not there. The Warriors did not even pretend that they were giving it their all, at least in the first half of this game. Gary Payton II, I feel like, was one of the only players doing anything, and he was rewarded with a second half start. Quentin Post started this game. But Sophia, right off the bat, I think that what we need to start with in terms of what went wrong for the Warriors tonight was Aaron Gordon, who is the Nuggets starting center in place of Nikola Jokic. Normally, he's the team starting power forward. And this game tonight, the 9th straight win for the Nuggets over the Golden State Warriors. That is correct. The Warriors have not beaten the Nuggets once since they won the title in 2022. And a huge reason for that is the disparity of size. When Jokic is there, Aaron Gordon is not even the biggest player. And that alone has been giving the Warriors problems for years. Jokic is out, so Michael Porter Jr. slides to the 4. At 6'10", that man can shoot threes. Aaron Gordon, not notorious for three-point shooting, but tonight he was a 4 of 6 shooting from beyond the arc, 14 of 23 shooting from the field. Aaron Gordon finished this game with 38 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He had 7 turnovers, but it wasn't enough to make a difference ultimately. And when you look at players like Porter Jr., you look at players like Peyton Watson, who is not a regular. Maybe he's in the Nuggets rotation, but he's not a name that's notorious, that's prominent in for the casual fan. Yet he was lighting it up tonight. Not necessarily from 3-point, only had 2 3-point attempts, made one of them, but had 13 points in this game. Michael Porter Jr. had 21 points in this game. He started off very strong, finished the game 3 of 10 shooting from 3 in the first half. However, Michael Porter Jr., in terms of 3-point shooting, was 2 of 5. So he had 40% of his shots made early, finished 3 of 10. That number dipped down a little bit. But going back to Aaron Gordon and this Nuggets team in general, because there were dudes tonight like where is he on my sheet here? Vladko Kanchar, who I knew very little about until tonight's game. That dude was eating the Warriors up. Zeke Najee was having a night tonight. Russell Westbrook late in this game, just dropping a 3 over Buddy Hield. The Warrior, this is why size matters in basketball, Sophia. This is why I've been screaming at the top of my lungs for a damn long time when we talk about personnel, when we talk about the Warriors roster. Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., even Westbrook when he shot his 3, Conchar, who tonight made a 3-pointer. He was 1 of 2. These guys had no issues getting those 3s up. Those were unimpeded shots. Aaron Gordon didn't even have to jump when he put up those 3s. Same with Michael Porter Jr. Did you see anything tonight, Sophia, that in terms of coaching schematics, in terms of a possible rotation adjustment, is there anything the Warriors could have done from your perspective to slow those players down? Because I don't know if they could have, and that's a problem. That's why you need length and size. What did you see there in terms of what the Nuggets were doing right, and could the Warriors have done anything to stop it?
It almost made me wonder at the beginning of the game that because Jokic and Murray and Brown were such late pulls, that their entire scout and game plan against the Nuggets had to completely be readjusted. And so they didn't even really know what they were doing going into that game, especially with when Jokic and Murray are playing, everything is run through them. And specifically Jokic, he orchestrates everything. So I almost wonder if because those players were out and they had a game plan designed for those players and for that specific style of offense and defense, that when a lot of these other players started to do things that were more so outside their role, they were then put on their heels. And I think that's what happened this game for the Warriors a little bit. When you talk about size, I feel like when going up against Aaron Gordon specifically, it's not all the time. Well, I mean, having big players helps, but against like an Aaron Gordon this game, I felt like you just had to match that physicality and intensity. And that's something that the Warriors didn't do. While I still think overall the Warriors do need size for this game. I just really saw a lack of intensity on the defensive end and not really matching that physicality. And again, just having some of these more so role and bench players that are playing outside of themselves just really kind of put the Warriors on their heels.
Yeah. Stephen Curry didn't look good tonight. There was a play late in this game where the turnover was bad. This was a fast break. I think it was like a 3-on-1, and Curry could have taken it himself. He could have at least gotten closer to the rim before making a decision on what to do, but he opted to go for this alley-oop. The pass was way off. Like Kuminga had no chance of grabbing that thing for the easy bucket. And overall, this was a rough night for Steph. I haven't even looked at his box score yet until just now. Okay, here we go. 20 points, which, again, for Steph, by his standards, not good. That's below his scoring average. 4 of 14 shooting from deep. That's not good. I'll do the math on that in a second in terms of percentages, but that's somewhere in that's under 30%. So that's somewhere around like 28% shooting from 3 for Steph. Again, that's not good. But maybe the worst stat was the turnovers. I mentioned that Aaron Gordon had 7 turnovers tonight, but Aaron Gordon also had 38 points and 6 rebounds. Stephen Curry had 7 turnovers as well. Again, 20 points, but 7 turnovers. Matched that number with 7 assists, had 4 rebounds. I'm looking at apparently Steve Kerr had a quote tonight, and we'll play some sound in just a minute. But this was from Youngmisik, who covers the Warriors for ESPN as their beat reporter. And is quoted as attributing Steve Kerr as saying that Stephen Curry is tired. And Steve Kerr reportedly emphasized this point during tonight's postgame interview. Again, we'll play that sound the moment we got it. So Steph, again, 7 assists, but also had 7 turnovers. it's obvious Steph is tired. I almost wish they didn't play him tonight, especially when Jokic was out. It's like if you're going to rest them, you got to pick and choose the right games. And tonight would have been it. I know it's easy to play a Monday morning quarterback. Hindsight's easily 2020. But with that said, chances are we're not going to see him tomorrow against the Bucks, which adds to the frustration here because would have been nice to have him rested and ready tomorrow. Instead, now you lose this game, and you're probably not going to have Steph tomorrow. We'll find out if Pajemski's back tomorrow. But what was your take on Steph having a rough night tonight, shooting-wise, turnover-wise? Dude's tired, needs a break. Your thoughts?
Well, for the past couple of games, in game, he's kind of been showing to hit at or massage his lower back a lot of times. I've noticed, so that could just be something that's been affecting him as well, that has contributed to some of that fatigue or is a result of some of that fatigue. But especially you want your players as healthy as possible to make this final push before the playoffs and then to be able to then make a run in the playoffs. So like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if Steph doesn't play tonight tomorrow. I don't think that he should the way that he looked tonight, but it is something where I feel like in watching him these past couple games, there have been some potentially minor injuries that have just been nipping at him recently.
Yeah, and the back thing's been bothering him for a few days now. You see him with that, I don't know if it's a brace or what that thing is, but it's a wrap around his torso that it seems to be supporting his back and helping that out. It sucks. And, when you get old, now in Brandon Pajemski's case, who's 22, having back issues is a little concerning. When you're 37, it's a little more understandable.
Oh, my neck, my back, my neck and my back. Oh.
Makes sense. It makes a little more sense. But nonetheless, that was unfortunate. Sophia, I want to get to what I think is on a lot of people's minds here, which is the gravity of tonight's game was huge before the announcement that Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Christian Brown is important as well, but nothing compared to those first two names in terms of impact and importance. With that said, the luster was clearly taken off this game when those two primarily were announced as rested players tonight. With that said, I thought this was going to be a huge litmus test for the Golden State Warriors. With those guys out, on one hand, I'm not hitting panic buttons at all because I'm not taking a lot from this game. Look, even the best of teams have ugly nights. This was a very ugly night. On the other hand, I really don't like how Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter specifically played because those two are going to be playing when Jokic and Murray are back. Those two already have career nights consistently when they play the Golden State Warriors. Their best versions show up against this team. So we're going to see these two teams play again, I believe, on April 4th. And that's going to be a massively huge game because this team has to prove not only to the world. I don't think that matters. They need to prove to themselves that they can beat this Nuggets team because the last time the Warriors beat Denver never had world championship experience. Now they do. And the Warriors now have a 9-game losing streak to this team. There is a psychological edge that the Nuggets own. So on one hand, there is no chance in hell I'm coming out of tonight's game saying, hey, Warriors are going to win the title. Hell no. But on the other hand, I'm not saying they're not going to win it either because of all the players missing, because of the off night for Golden State. But the Aaron Gordon part of this, the Michael Porter Jr. part of this, that's concerning. What is your takeaway from tonight's game, big picture?
Big picture, I'm in the exact same boat as you, where I feel like this isn't the Warriors team that if Jokic and Murray specifically were playing, this isn't the same Warriors team that would have showed up tonight. And sometimes teams just have bad nights. And I think that's a lot of what we saw, especially when you see that manifest itself into the 24% three-point shooting. As a team, they're 8 for 33.
Yeah.
And then free throws were abysmal. They were 15 of 27, which is 55.6%. And when you have numbers like that, sometimes there really is no answer other than just accepting the fact that the team couldn't throw a rock in the ocean that game.
It was a yeah. Romar Hernandez, I think you perfectly said it, that this was an abysmal performance. And it was a little shocking to me, in all honesty, Sophia, that after the first quarter, the Warriors were even in this game. I mean, because I kept tracking the shooting, and it was mind-blowing to me. After the first quarter of this game, the Warriors trailed, I think, 29-22. And in that first quarter, the Warriors were 1 of 8 shooting from deep. 1 of 8. That's 12.5%. But they were also 1 of 7 from the free throw line. 1 of 7 from the free throw line. That's 14.3% shooting from the free throw line. Who was guilty of that in the opening quarter? Jimmy Butler was 0 of 2 shooting from 3. He also missed a free throw attempt. Steph was 1 of 3 shooting from deep. You live with that. Moses Moody was 0 of 1 from deep. Buddy Hield was 0 of 1 from deep. Guy Santos was 0 of 1 from deep. Kevon Looney, 0 of 3 from the free throw line. Then we got to the second quarter. And at the end of the first half, the Warriors were still shooting bad. They started to pick it up a little bit, but when halftime got here, the Warriors were just 4 of 19 from deep, and they were just 4 of 12 from the free throw line. So halfway through this game, the Warriors were shooting just 33% from the free throw line. That's insane. Just 21.1% shooting from beyond the arc. That's also no bueno. You fast forward to the third quarter. After 3, the Warriors got that number up, the 3-point number. They were, after 3 quarters, they were shooting 5 of 25 from deep. The free throw number had gone up to 6 out of 14 through 3 quarters. So after 3 quarters of play, the Warriors had not even hit 50% of their free throws. It wasn't until the game had ended. And by that point, it was too late. You're right. The free throw shooting was bad. The 3-point shooting was bad. Was there anyone, before I list off everyone's 3-point shots, is there any, and free throws, I want to point that out as well. Is there anyone from your perspective who really disappointed in either of those categories? Or maybe disappointed is the wrong word, but maybe were there any players who were glaring, who stuck out in terms of their shots maybe hurting the team more than others? Or no? I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, that's a hard one, because when an entire team just as a whole is shooting that poorly from the 3-point and free throw line, it kind of diffuses to the rest of the team and affects everyone.
Yeah.
For a player like Jimmy Butler, who he's usually pretty reliable from the free throw line, especially that's his thing. He gets to the free throw line at an extremely high rate. For him to not shoot as well this game definitely kind of stuck out.
Big time. And Steve White mentions in the chat that if Joker and Murray had played, the Warriors might have lost this game by 20. The flip side to that is, if they had played, maybe the Warriors win, because they actually rise up and provide that intensity that we saw late in the game that was too little, too late. But here's I'll just read off how the players did tonight, and you folks at home can judge for yourself how impactful the lack of efficiency was shooting wise. Jimmy Butler, 1 of 4 from deep, 6 of 10 from the free throw line. That's, by his standards, really bad. I mean, normally he's in the 80% range free throw wise. I don't know what his numbers are in the year. In fact, I'm curious. I'll look it up right now while we're at it, because I'd like to know that stat. So Jimmy Butler on the season as a free throw shooter. Sorry for the delay. I'm pulling that number up right now. On the year, he's an 83.5% free throw shooter. That's exceptional. So for him to go 6 of 10, it's bad. It's below his own standards. And again, he was 1 of 4 shooting from 3, not known for being a lights out 3-point shooter to begin with, but he struggled tonight. Draymond Green, this stat shocks me, given how physical this game was, how often Draymond was attacking the paint. I thought the officiating was awful, side note. But Sophia, does this surprise you at all that Draymond Green in this game had just 1 free throw attempt? Side note, he missed it. But That's weird to me that he only had one trip to the line and it was just for one free throw. Any reaction from you or no? Am I blowing that up more than it should?
No, he usually does go to the free throw line more, especially with the amount that he's been driving all the way to the rim recently. You kind of expect that number to be a little higher. I felt like you said, just with the officiating, there are a lot of really weird possessions and
Yeah.
calls, I guess, if you could say. I mean, Steph Curry, nothing out of the ordinary. He didn't really get a favorable whistle this game on his takes to the basket, but the Warriors did get a lot of free throw attempts. They just didn't hit them.
Yeah, big time. Again, they finished the game 15 of 27. Sophia, you mentioned that earlier. That's 12 missed free throws. And just going through the rest of the stats here real fast. So Draymond, one free throw attempt. He missed the only free throw that he put up. Quentin Post only played 8 minutes, 26 seconds. While his name is on my mind, Sophia, what was your opinion on Quentin Post's usage tonight? Did he play enough? Was the stage too big for him, perhaps? What was your take on Quentin Post? Because he wasn't making much of an impact early, and I don't think we saw him at all in the second half. I could be mistaken on that. I'm looking that up. But what was your takeaway from Quentin Post tonight?
Kind of going back to what I said earlier about the physicality of this game, I think that Quentin Post, he is still adjusting a little bit to that. And there are certain times where, especially with how fast and in transition Denver was playing, and you needed someone to get back on defense, he was just a little bit too late or a little bit too soft, honestly. So I think that's kind of why we saw the decrease minutes in post, but also some of the increase in Kevon Looney this game.
Yeah, and Looney we're going to talk about because I thought he struggled, including with the free throws. So anyway, and Peter Gregory in the chat mentions that he remembers Draymond hitting 2 free throws. I thought so too. Right here, he wrote it in the chat. But the box score I'm looking at, courtesy of the NBA, is showing 0 for 1 from the free throw line.
Yeah, I've seen that also.
But I that is confusing to me because I maybe he didn't. I don't know. Anyways, so Moses Moody, I thought had a rough game. And the Warriors, unfortunately, now dropped to 18-2 with him as a starter. They dropped to 14-2 with Jimmy Butler playing. But Moses Moody tonight, 1 of 4 shooting from deep. That's 25%. No free throw attempts for him at all. He had a team worst -12 in net rating. Steph, free throw wise, was a perfect 4 of 4. But again, the 3-point shooting, a different story, 4 of 14, 10 missed threes for Steph and Curry. Jonathan Kuminga, and again, it's just for whatever reason, man. I guess he's just, until the Warriors win a championship with him leading the way, he's never going to make everyone happy, apparently. And the reason why I say that is because there are a few people who ignorantly are pointing the finger at Kuminga for tonight's game, even though he led the team in net rating with a +6. I think he was the only player who had a positive net rating in this game. 13 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. I thought defensively he was vital. He was one of the only guys who I thought defensively was actually showed up tonight. But he was 0 of 2 shooting from beyond the arc. I don't think he's even made a 3 in the 3 games he's played since he's come back from that ankle injury. 5 of 8 shooting from the free throw line, which is about 60-something%. So that was Kuminga for you. Sophia, do you think Kuminga deserved criticism for his performance tonight, or should people wisen up and look in proper directions?
I don't think he deserves criticism. I even believe that during the broadcast, Mike Breen, the play-by-play for ESPN, mentioned that Kuminga was still kind of on a limited minutes plan. So he played 28, which is honestly probably a little bit more than he should have in terms of the return to play from the ankle injury, but he was out for a while, and it takes a minute for players to get their rhythm back. And even this game, I felt like he wasn't out of sync too much. I mean, when the entire team is out of sync, that doesn't help either.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So this was Kuminga's 3rd game back. He's hit double-digit scoring in all 3 games. But there are moments where the rust is still showing. And as you mentioned, with the minute restriction, he was supposed to be still on the 20-minute restriction. There was a moment in this game in the fourth quarter where I think Anthony Slater tweeted out that he saw, I don't know if animated is the right word, but a serious discussion was held along the Warriors bench with Rick Celebrini, who's the head of medicine for the Warriors, and Steve Kerr in regards to possibly extending those minutes because of how badly the Warriors needed coming in the fourth quarter. And they went along with it, and he seemed to be fine. He finished with 27 minutes, 36 seconds of playing this game. I look, some folks out there, again, you're going to be Kuminga haters. You're morons. I don't know what else to tell you, man. This was not his fault. Now Buddy Hield, on the other hand, his minutes I was a little perplexed by, especially late in the game. I didn't think he was doing much. The box score will reinforce that sentiment. Buddy Hield in 20 minutes, 59 seconds. Your box score will likely show 21 minutes. He was 1 of 4 shooting from the field total. Just 4 field goal attempts. 3 of those 4 field goal attempts were 3-point attempts. He missed all 3 of those, had no free throw attempts. So his final box score tonight for Buddy Hield, 2 points, no rebounds, 1 assist, 0 of 3 shooting from deep, did not get to the line once. Sophia, kind of rough. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's just one of the contingencies that you kind of have to expect with Buddy Hield, that he's going to have his ups and downs throughout the course of the season. And this is definitely one of those low points for a game. The minutes, again, sometimes I can understand why Steve Kerr wants him in, because it helps to space the floor when you have a shooter on the perimeter, especially with the length of Denver. You want everyone to try to be out of the paint as much as possible. But when he's not hitting shots, and especially when the team is in such a hole and a 3-point shooting, just terrible performance, you need him to be that person that tries to get the team out of that, and he wasn't that tonight.
Tonight I feel like was one of those nights where I would not have hated it if Steve Kerr dug deep into his bench and went with players like Kevin Knox. There's another two-way play. Is Kevin Knox still on the team? I don't know if he got re-signed, actually. I don't know what's going on with Kevin Knox, but the Warriors do have this other guy. His name, I think, is Braxton Key, who they recently added as a two-way player. The tape on him is phenomenal. I don't know how much you know about him, Sophia. And I'm going to get Kevin Dana back on the show soon because I need to get his perspective on this. But Braxton Key, look that name up, folks, and let me know what you think when you see the highlights, because he is lighting it up for Santa Cruz. He's a physical big dude. I do feel like this would have been a game where they could have used him, but regardless, it's funny. Kevin, and thank you. What the F is fashion saying that Kevin Knox is back to the G League. Julian Bashir's asking, where's that Australian guy we signed? I apologize for forgetting his name, but I do know he's also playing in Santa Cruz, and he's putting up a good numbers. Not high in scoring, but he's one of those dudes that apparently net rating wise, like, he's playing winning basketball, doing all the intangible stuff. Anyways, your sentiments, your thoughts, Sophia, on options. Like, did the Warriors have options tonight? Could they have done anything differently besides increasing energy, or was this just one of those nights, Sophia? What do you think?
I don't even know if options were the right word, because it's not like the roster is extremely dilapidated at this point where there are just a lot of injuries. They had all the main guys playing, and even the main rotation bench players playing. The only kind of big person out of the rotation is Brandon Pajemski. But I don't know, especially against a team like the Nuggets, where there's a lot of history, and you mentioned that psychological aspect, knowing that they haven't beaten the Nuggets in a lot of games. I don't know if you want to just automatically lose faith in your core players and resort to getting to some of those farther down the bench guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Taron Armstrong is the guy's name, by the way. And he could be something, but he's playing for Santa Cruz right now. The Warriors tonight were the first team in NBA or WNBA history to have accomplished this feat, Sophia. And this is courtesy of a Twitter account that posts a lot of interesting, sometimes fascinating statistics. Automatic NBA wrote this tweet tonight saying the Warriors are the first team in NBA or WNBA history to go below 25% from three with a minimum of 33-point attempts, to go below 60% from the free throw line with a minimum of 25 free throw attempts, and have 20 or more turnovers in the same game. Congratulations to the Golden State Warriors. You played like utter and complete shit, and the stats confirm it. Friendly reminder again, from the three-point line tonight, the Warriors were 8 of 33, good for 24.2%. From the free throw line, 15 of 27, 55.6%. Oh, yeah, and they also had 20 turnovers in this game, led by Stephen Curry with 3, Draymond Green with 4, Jonathan Kuminga and Guy Santos with 3, Jimmy Butler with 2. Woo! Your reaction, Sophia, to us witnessing one of the worst statistical nights by a NBA or WNBA team in history.
Yeah, and it's interesting because in watching that game, I don't even know if you can attribute the reason to those numbers being how the Nuggets played. I mean, the three-point shooting, the Warriors were open for so many of those shots. They were uncontested. It felt like a lot of times that they just missed. Steph in particular, he missed a lot of threes that he usually makes. A lot of those turnovers just unforced and careless. I don't know why they kept trying to make full court over the top of the defense passes, because they were getting picked off every single time. And then the free throw percentage, no one's playing defense on the free throw line, so that's just a team.
Inexcusable.
So, yeah.
Inexcusable. And the Kevon Looney again, 0 of 3 from the free throw line tonight. Jimmy Butler, 6 of 10. He's normally shooting over 83% from the free throw line. Still no answer for why the NBA is listing Draymond Green on the box score with having just 1 free throw attempt. At least 2 people in the chat now said that they saw Draymond hit 2 free throws. I don't get it. And then Kuminga missed 3 free throws tonight. Gary Payton II had 1 free throw attempt. He missed that. I thought GP2 was one of the only bright sides tonight. He played 26 minutes, 23 seconds. He was 8 of 10 from the field, 2 of 3 from beyond the 3-point line. So he finished tonight's game with 18 points, added 3 rebounds and an assist. Unfortunately, Sophia, I'm also going to remember him defending Russell Westbrook at the end there, and Westbrook just putting up a 3. I don't know what happened to blocking 3-point shots. Can the Warriors not do that? Is that a skill that they just have no ability to actually successfully complete? Like, you tell me, Sophia, you play D1 basketball. Why can the Warriors never block 3-point shots? Why do other teams look like they could just put them up with impunity? Your reaction?
Yeah, I would say for that Russell Westbrook one and the ones that he hit specifically, where Westbrook does his damage is getting downhill. So either getting downhill and scoring within the paint, or what was the number? He had 16 assists tonight. So that's really where he hurt you, not from the 3-point line. I mean, he was still 2 of 9. That one that he hit at the end was just unfortunately extremely timely. But I mean, honestly, for that Gary Payton one, that's just knowing personnel in the scout.
Yeah.
You're going to play the drive. So that's one of those, it's unfortunate that they made it, but you have to live with it.
Yeah, you're right.
But for the 3-point shots as a whole, sometimes a lot of that has to do with just rotations and getting beat in some of those straight line drives. And when those players touch paint, then players collapse. Some of that also has to do with the transition defense that the Warriors had that was very poor, in my opinion. This
Yeah.
game, it seemed like not only just in transition for those easy mismatch layups that the Nuggets got, but just pushing the ball, and then which led to some mismatches where you have players not guarding who they're supposed to be matched up with, and that kind of leads to some more confusion and chaos on the defensive end. But the Warriors have always struggled defending the 3-point line, but a lot of that does also go back to like what you said, just length, having
Yeah.
a hand stretched out or in the face of whatever player that you're guarding is a lot of the times a deterrent.
And and they hand to the face. I mean, since I was a kid, I was taught that in basketball. At a bare minimum, if you can't block a player, stick your hand in the face, shield him if you must. That's legal. So at a bare minimum, their vision is affected, and that's from Stephen Curry's early days. That's how I knew this kid was something special, because I remember players just literally face guarding him, doing all these, and he can see right through it. It doesn't affect him the least bit. The greats do not get affected when vision is impaired when it comes to shooting. So GP2 tonight, despite Westbrook's three that basically sealed the late in the game, he was one of the bright spots in tonight's affair. Another player I thought who played well. I'm not going to forget that coast to coast dunk that he did. I'm not going to forget the fact that Draymond Green, who was mentioned in the chat, because I brought up how the Warriors have issues blocking other players from on the 3-point line. Well, Draymond Green is an exception to that. He not only did block a 3-point shot tonight, Draymond Green finished with 5 blocks in this game, 10 points. He was 5 of 6 shooting from the field. He only had 1 3-point attempt and missed that. 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 5 blocks. Draymond Green almost had never mind. Forget it. But 10 points, 5 blocks, 3 steals, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. Sophia, who's our player of the game tonight? Is it Draymond or GP2? What do you think?
GP2 still.
There you go.
I think
GP2.
throughout the course of the entire game, it felt like he was always contributing. There were still some of those turnovers by Draymond or just smoked layups. Or he actually didn't miss many layups, but it just felt like Gary Payton specifically had an energy to him today that unfortunately didn't rub off as much on some of the other players.
Some paid chats here. Sorry to get to these late. JJ Lee dropping $1.99 saying that Draymond Green's last podcast episode explained why we lost tonight. JJ, I know you posted this a little while ago, but if you don't mind following up, if you're still watching, and follow that up, because I would love to know what Draymond actually said. Sophia, do you have any clue what he's referencing, or she?
No, I don't.
I don't either. So JJ, please follow up, because I'd love to know what Draymond said specifically, what you're referring to there. Stanley Warren dropping $5 in the chat saying, and this is right, great point. The Denver Nuggets played fantastic defense tonight. The Warriors players did not get to experience the freedom of space tonight. Every time a player had the ball, there was someone giving them inches of room. If you were off the ball as a Warriors player, there was someone glued to you. Denver made life difficult defensively. And Stanley Warren in the chat tonight saying that the Nuggets switched everything, that the Warriors should have just fed Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga in the post more. That I also, great chat, period. Agree with that sentiment also. Get those easy buckets, slow the game down a little bit. But Steve Kerr loves to force his motion offense no matter what. I don't know if the motion cost the team anything tonight, but I do agree that sometimes keep simplifying things helps, and maybe doing that tonight would have been the right move. The good news is this was a learning experience. This happened in the regular season where it's sort of inconsequential, especially given when we go to the scores tonight. You're going to learn a lot of important teams lost games tonight. The Warriors are still the 6th seed. Sophia, your reaction to Stanley Warren's solid chat. Great points.
No, that's a great observation. For me, when I played, I never liked when other teams were just switch heavy because it doesn't give the person coming off of a ball screen any type of advantage because they're right there. It's really hard to get downhill, and even off ball when you're switching all of that, it's hard to really get the angle. And I think, like I mentioned earlier with the Warriors game plan, when they've had success, I guess I can say, against the Nuggets in the past, they've hunted those switches against Jokic a lot of the time, and they put him in those ball screen actions and just forced him to guard on the perimeter. And I think that since the Warriors couldn't rely on getting that tonight, that's another reason why it just looked like everything was stuck and a little stagnant this game.
Big time. By the way, going back a second, JJ Lee did follow up. Thank you. So apparently Draymond Green in his podcast said that when you're in your late 30s, you can't drink wine all night and still be in game shape, even if it's a few nights after. You can see it in their performance today. So, JJ, I guess you are making a bit of an assumption here in saying that that Draymond Green and company went out drinking and they had a good time. If that's true, I'm with you. And Draymond was absolutely right. That's from my perspective. And Sophia, I don't know if this is relevant to you or not. I don't know if you drink or what you do socially, but I don't judge if you have a vice in life, more power to you. The last thing I'm doing is judging. Have fun. But with that said, I was just going to add from a personal note, that was one of the clearest signs of aging for me were the hangovers. It went from, oh, let's go night 2, let's go night 3 to night 2, I'm still hungover. Night 3, I'm still kind of feeling this. Dude, the booze effect is the clearest evidence of you getting old. And so if what JJ's writing is true, that the players went out and had one too many, yeah, they looked the part. Any reaction, Sophia?
You know what? I think I can actually recall, I forget who it was, but when I was watching ESPN today, either someone on SportsCenter or NBA Today made a comment about Draymond, I think, mentioning that they drank some wine recently.
Oh.
So I do think that this is true. I can't remember the exact thing. I was not fully paying attention, but
Okay. But
no,
this makes a lot more sense.
It does. And as a former player and hearing a lot of stories on what current players do in their free time, it always reminds me of Allen Iverson, who he would basically say that he would play terrible when he didn't go out and party. So, I mean, honestly, there are a lot of people and a lot of players, more than I think people realize, that need to go out and do that stuff. But sometimes, I guess, like Draymond is saying, for depending on the body, it affects more with age.
Oh, and we're getting some more commentary here. Too much adding that they were drinking wine at Draymond's house, I guess. So, and apparently this was so to add some context here, Stephen Curry breaks the 4,000 mark in terms of made threes. So they're celebrating that achievement, which happened last game. So it's all coming together. So what the insinuation here is, and we bring Ryan Leong on the show live from Chase Center. Ryan, great to see you, bud. The insinuation here then is that the Warriors celebrated after 4K, but they're too old to handle their liquor at this point, and they should not have been doing that. And so the team we saw tonight was hungover. It makes sense. Ryan, good to see you, buddy. Your reaction to the newest prevalent theory in our chat that the Warriors players were hungover tonight. Your thoughts, and good to see you, brother.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, although I found out that the Nuggets were all happy about wearing green, so I guess I accidentally wore my. It's St. Patrick's Day. That's why I'm wearing
green, greenish. Yeah, it's like a dark green.
Yeah.
Sophia, do you have green going? No. That's all right. I who cares?
So yeah, it's hard to. I definitely know this much. They definitely took their foot off the gas, and then stifling defense on Steph. Right. I mean, look at Steph's numbers: 6 of 21 shooting. I mean, these are like Michael Jordan Wizards numbers. You remember Michael Jordan with the Wizards? He
I
would
do.
shoot like this routinely, 30%, shooting. Actually, well, maybe a little better. Usually Jordan had 7 of 21 nights, but 6 of 21 is pretty bad. 4 of 14 from distance.
What do we? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say there's a soundbite from Draymond Green I wanted to play, but Ryan, finish up first, please, and then I'll go to it.
Well, yeah, just bad shooting. I mean, and then look at Jimmy Butler. I mean, Jimmy Butler was what, 8? Well, that's not bad. 8 of 16. He's all right. But I mean, like, overall from distance, they shot horribly, right? 8 of 23, 24% from 3.
It's not good. No, we covered
yeah,
that
no,
extensively.
Yeah, no, definitely. The Nuggets deserve credit. Yeah, I talked to Aaron Gordon and Spencer Jones, who actually flew. I guess he flew here from the G League to get here, and Peyton Watson. Those guys all played well. I mean, they all stepped up.
Everybody on the Nuggets played well tonight. It was absurd. It was absurd.
I mean, the Warriors, and the crazy thing is they actually committed more turnovers than the Warriors, but they made up for it. So, I mean, the Warriors just shot horribly from distance. They shot badly from the line. You know, they even mixed some of the free throws. Remember the old days when the Warriors used to miss all their free throws? This is one of those games where they did that.
Yes, it was.
They only shot.
Well, they weren't
56%.
making anything. I read a stat, Ryan, just a moment ago from a Twitter account where the Warriors became the first team in NBA history to reach these abysmal levels of shooting. I'll read it to you again in case you joined the show late. Well, shit, now I lost it. So it was something like, Sophia, do you remember? It was like below 25% from 3. It was below 60% from the free throw line. And I think it was 20 or more turnovers. The Warriors became the first team in history to do that. It's insane.
What's crazy, though, is that the Warriors actually shot from the field. They shot pretty well. They shot 49% from the field. That's what's nuts.
Yeah,
So,
but go figure. Here's Draymond Green was asked about fatigue and whether or not he thought Stephen Curry and everyone else was tired tonight. So let's hear from Draymond. And this is courtesy of KNBR. Their audio is always good, so I'm grateful for that. Ryan, you're there every home game. Like, why is KNBR the only organization plugging the mics in?
Because they actually have an AV department that cares. I guess their digital team actually cares. So their guy, Austin Scott, who I'll give credit to, Austin is the guy doing it. Austin has the equipment. So he's actually doing it. And 95.7 isn't. So that's pretty much it.
Good for them. Well, here is Draymond Green answering the question of, were the Warriors tired?
You said Steph is tired. Do you see it?
It's game 68. I think we're all tired. It's the reality of the NBA. So we just got to all figure out a way. But I think, all things considered, everybody's tired. You usually, the way the season works, you kind of start off the season fresh and kind of get to a point to where you maybe after – used to be like late January, early February, really late January, you start getting into them dog days. And then you get to the All-Star break and you kind of get rejuvenated coming out of the break. And then you kind of get to this point and it's like can't quite see the All-Star break anymore. You can't quite see the end yet, and you kind of hit those dog days again. And that's where everybody is right now in the NBA. Unfortunately, you got a lot to play for in these games. So, you don't get the luxury of tricking off games or a bunch of rest. We need to win games. So.
Is rejuvenation possible when you guys are trying to stack wins? Rejuvenation for you, for Jimmy, for Steph. I mean, what's the tension between maintaining bodies but making sure that you're not in the play-in?
Yeah, we just want to not be in the play-in. So whatever we got to do, we got to figure it out.
All right, and that was Draymond Green, again, courtesy of KNBR following tonight's game. By the way, real fast, just because I'm going to address, if there's lies, I'll address it. Like JG638, who writes, notice how I never mentioned Kuminga's missed free throws. I've already mentioned that he went 5 from 8. I already mentioned that he missed 3 of them. What more do you want? But don't pretend that's the reason why the Warriors lost. That would be absurd. Does he need to be better with his free throws? Yes. Do the Warriors have much bigger issues than that? Yes. Another paid chat, by the way, I want to get through all these real fast. This one actually was not paid, but YTD, you son of a bitch, writing 9 straight wins versus the Warriors. We own you bums. Ryan, I asked this from Sophia earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Do the Nuggets own the Warriors, man? This is 9 in a row. They clearly have a psychological edge. What's going on with the Warriors here in terms of the Nuggets, man? Is this just an obstacle that they cannot pass? Will they win on April 4th when they play again? Your thoughts?
Probably not, because I'm guessing on April 4th they're going to have Jokic and Murray back in that game, and that's going to be. I think it's right now they're just the size that Denver, Denver just outmatches the Warriors when it comes to size. And wow, they killed them on the rebounds. 14 more rebounds.
Who, the Nuggets?
Yeah,
that made sense. And
I haven't even looked at this 52 to 38.
And I haven't even looked at this stat yet. I'm going to look right now because I'm guessing the offensive rebounds is where they particularly slaughtered the Warriors. And huge surprise. Yep, 19 offensive
18,
rebounds.
18.
Wait, what?
I got 18.
I got 19. What are you looking at? I got the NBA's box score. What are you looking at?
I'm seeing 19 in the ESPN app.
I'm seeing 19.
ESPN. I don't know. I always check it based on NBA, not ESPN.
Well, I'm on the NBA's. You're saying your NBA box score is showing 18?
Yeah, maybe they made a mistake.
Can you refresh?
Well, I have the actual printed up score.
Oh, okay. Well, mine's newer, so I got the more updated information.
All right, I'll check it again.
It was 19 offensive rebounds for the Nuggets.
Yeah.
In this game, you're right, Ryan. 53 team rebounds. Or total rebounds for the Denver Nuggets.
I see it now. Yeah, you're right. Yep, we'll go by yours. I'm looking at
38
it now.
for the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors incredibly won the points in the paint battle, 64-46, which feeds into what you were saying, Ryan, about how the team did shoot overall efficiently from the field. The Warriors were 41 of 84 shooting from the field, but three-point shooting, a nightmare. It's like a night and day comparison where they were just 8 of 33. They couldn't make anything outside. They were doing okay inside. Miguel R. dropping $4.99, saying Buddy Hield and Kevon Looney have no business playing next season. That's interesting. Kevon Looney will be an unrestricted free agent after this year. Looney looks like he's 80 years old out there. He's still in his 20s, side note. The same two players that Kerr will play come playoffs. Sophia, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on Miguel's comments, and do you think Looney played too much tonight? Kevon Looney, his minute total, 15 minutes, 14 seconds, 6 points, 7 rebounds in the loss.
I say yes. He probably did play a little too many minutes, especially when the Warriors had the scoring and field goal drought kind of in that second quarter. That's when he was in the game. And when you go through periods like that, you need people that are going to put the ball in the basket, especially defensively, where he wasn't guarding Jokic or a traditional big or center, and he's forced to be drawn out of the paint. That's when he starts to become a little bit of a liability.
Ryan, your thoughts, brother, and maybe shift to Buddy Hield, because he played 20 minutes, 59 seconds tonight. And look, jumping ahead real fast. Sorry, I'm going to give you a multi-part question here, Ryan.
Right.
Brandon Podziemski might play tomorrow.
Okay.
And a big question has been where the minutes going to come from, because if Podziemski plays consistently, that's an 11-man rotation. Now, Stephen Curry, I'm going to guess, is going to rest tomorrow night, so the minute issue might not be a concern. But if Podziemski is not getting his minutes from Buddy Hield, there is a crime happening right in front of us, and no one's going to jail. Your thoughts on Buddy's minutes?
Highly unproductive. I mean, 21 minutes, basically 1 of 4 shooting, 0 of 3 from distance, 2 points, a lot of zeros.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing night. I mean, that's what more can you say? You look at it. You look at his stat line; it's a lot of zeros. I mean, I don't know. Do you give Steph the night off against a Bucks team? I mean, the Bucks are really good. I mean, if anything, hopefully maybe Steph can play and you rest him on Thursday against the Raptors.
Well, you were there. I mean, there were a lot of the talking points tonight after the game was that Steph was tired. In fact, here's another quote. Let's go to this soundbite real fast before you answer this. This is Steve Kerr talking about Stephen Curry, also discussing the topic of Steph's energy, his exhaustion. Here's Steve Kerr, and then Ryan, I'd love to know hear from you in terms of being in the arena, if you saw anything. I mean, Steph does look tired, but here's Steve Kerr.
Did you think Steph was all limited? Another tough shooting night, 7 turnovers. He's tired, and maybe
Steph's been carrying us for a month. He's been amazing. He's tired. We got to get him. We got to get him some rest. I just you can see it. He doesn't have his energy right now.
Yeah, I agree with that, but
I don't know what I got to talk to Rick, but he's exhausted right now. So we got to absolutely consider giving him a night and getting him rejuvenated for the sake of him and our the remainder of our games. But we'll see. But I think he's been tired the last few games, and so we've got to find a way to get him his juice back.
Ryan, your thoughts, man? Did any chatter in the arena tonight? Would your eye test show you your thoughts on Steph and his exhaustion?
Oh yeah, no, I agree. Steph looked like the way he did before they got Butler is how he looked tonight. He looked like he was jacking up a lot of shots. I mean, like jacking is in like he's just taking the ball and just trying to shoot anything. And a couple of the shots, went in and a lot didn't. And yeah, I think a lot of times when he is tired, and they've had Butler for this run for a while now, so maybe he's finally due for a little bit of a hiccup, which is what you saw tonight. And
that just sucked.
I just think though that you don't want to rest him against the Bucks though. I mean, the Bucks are a good team, man. If you want to rest him against the Raptors.
I know, but I mean, I don't know if it's an option. I mean, if he's literally tired where it's affecting play. Sophia, what do you think? I mean, do you agree with Ryan's sentiment that Steph has to play tomorrow night, or no? Your thoughts?
I mean, even Draymond said it, where they don't want to end up in the play-in, and I think that's the biggest concern for the Warriors right now, because the Timberwolves, they dropped the game tonight, but they're right under the Warriors in the standings, so a bad week could really be detrimental for this team.
Yeah.
However, Steph Curry, he did look tired tonight. I mean, even Steve Kerr said it. I don't know, maybe Jimmy Butler will go vintage Miami Heat and tell the Bucks that he owns them tomorrow night, that we could get that. I don't know. But yeah, it's a really dangerous game. I think that, like you said, you have to talk to the head of sports medicine and just see if the condition that Steph is in is that poor right now.
Yeah, tonight just sucked. And Pete Gregory dropped the $1.99, adding to your sentiment, Sophia, that Minnesota losing tonight was huge. The Warriors would have dropped to the 7 seed had Obi Toppin not hit a game winner. I think that's what happened, resulting in the T-Wolves losing, the Pacers winning. And Pete, thank you for that. We'll visit the standings in just a little bit. Carson Taylor dropping at $4.99. Thank you, Carson, writing that he needs to see Jonathan Kuminga in the starting lineup. His defense has improved a lot. Agree with that. When Steve Kerr took him out late in the fourth quarter, that's when Denver went on a run and the Warriors did not have offense. Agree with that. Again, Jonathan Kuminga was the only player tonight to finish in the positive in net rating. This was in 27 minutes, 36 seconds of play, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists for Jonathan Kuminga, who finished with a +6 in net rating. I don't know. Sophia and Ryan, I'd love to get thoughts from both of you, but Sophia, we'll start with you. Should Kuminga start, or do you like the way things are going in terms of the lineups? Your thoughts?
If you would have asked me before tonight, I think I would have said that the starting lineups that the Warriors have been with recently, especially with Moody in there, have been working. But after, I'm more skeptical, just like that point of just generating more offense, which is something that Kuminga does with ease. And I do like the idea still of Draymond Green playing the forward instead of center. So that would be the only tricky thing. But I do think Kuminga, I mean, it's been 3 games since he's been back. Maybe just one or two more back under his belt before he re-enters the starting lineup, because again, he also is in that minutes restriction right now as well.
And Ryan, your thoughts? And Ryan, I also want you to address, because there's apparently going to always be Kuminga haters out there. Case in point, JG638, who writes, the Warriors were on a roll. Here comes Kuminga, and here comes the L's. Never mind the fact that this was Kuminga's third game back, and they won the first 2 games with him. Never mind the fact that he was the only player in a positive in net rating tonight. Utterly absurd to blame Kuminga for this. But again, you have the haters out there. It's inexplicable to me. Your thoughts, Ryan?
No, I agree. I mean, like, what are you going to do? I mean, like, if the Warriors, let's say tomorrow Steph doesn't play, then you have what? You have certainly what if Pods comes back to play tomorrow, right? He's supposed to come back possibly?
Supposedly, yeah.
Assuming you play him in the starting lineup, Moses. You could take Post out and start Draymond at center and put Butler and JK at the forwards, right?
Yes.
See? So I don't know. I mean that. But I mean, honestly, when you start somebody, that doesn't mean anything either. You can start someone, you could easily take somebody off the bench and replace that person too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I always think it's a little overrated, that stat, unless a guy starts the game and he plays a significant number of minutes.
Well, I don't know if there's anything else to touch on here. Ryan, any final feedback from your coverage tonight, live from Chase Center? Any points you feel like that need to be touched on that we missed? Because I don't know if you want to stick around for the scoreboard and the standings. I'll leave that up to you, obviously. But
yeah, I can stick around real quick for that. I mean, it's just been a long day, but tomorrow, are you having me on tomorrow? Are you going with Larry tomorrow?
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's do Ryan. Let's do this. We'll skip the scoreboard except for the important scores. I don't want to keep Sophia waiting either. Okay. So we'll go through that fast. All right.
Okay, great.
Let's do it. Just because, I mean, what's the point of telling you how the Raptors did tonight? When I'm alone, it's kind of a fun segment because, I get reaction from the audience and, I get to talk. I get to rip on the Wizards, even though the Wizards are actually doing okay lately. But yeah, let's stick with the important stuff.
You know what? One of these days, Sophia, we got to get you out here to a game. Can you come out here sometime?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I mean, like, yeah, I can come to games. There are just sometimes channels, and I don't like being out late all the time.
I hear you. I hear you on that.
Try to get you out for one of the Saturday games, and they start at 5:30.
I was trying to get tickets to the Knicks game, but
you want a ticket?
Cyrus
get a credential. What are you
do? One of these, Or, yeah.
Were you trying to go with a friend, Sophia? Is that why you're trying to get tickets instead of getting a credential?
Yeah.
Ryan, I don't know if you're going to be at Chase Center for Valkyries games, but we're going to be there.
I plan on it. Yeah, I plan on doing the Valkyries. Yeah, in fact,
I plan on doing that too.
I reached out to the director of communications. I haven't heard back from her yet, so I don't know what's going on there.
Wait, who's the director of communications for the Valkyries?
Her name's Morgan Randolph.
Sophia, are you familiar with that?
I actually met her at the Celebrity All-Star game, so
okay,
I'm a little familiar with her. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So she's the Raymond Ritter of the Valkyries?
Yes.
I need to get in touch with her too. Okay. All right. Well, regardless, we'll see there for that. I'll try to make it to at least one more Warriors game this year. But all right, let's go. Let's go to the scoreboard and the standings. The standings are the really important part, and of course, that means we got to play some tunes. All right, so we got that set up. All right, the important games in the association on what is St. Patrick's Day, Monday. It's Monday. God damn it. March 17th. Elsewhere in the association, there were a lot of games tonight, so I'm just going to read to you the ones that matter to the Golden State Warriors. The LA Lakers, 125-109 winners tonight at home over the San Antonio Spurs to improve to 42-25. San Antonio drops to 28-39. Austin Reeves, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Steven Castle, is he going to win Rookie of the Year, by the way? Sophia, what do you think? Is that a Rookie of the Year this year?
I had a discussion with my dad today actually about that because Stephon Castle, he's been having really good outings. However, they're just not extremely impactful because the Spurs aren't winning right now. So I will probably maybe between him and then Jalen Wells with the Memphis Grizzlies.
Ooh, yeah, who has a Bay Area connection, played for Sonoma State, which no longer has an athletic program. By the way, this breaks my heart. Look at this chat comment, and this is one of our big supporters. This is Doomer Wave Vibes. Normally it says Bloomer, I think. This is how depressed this individual is. I'm terribly sorry. This individual, I don't know what your real name is, but I know normally you call yourself Bloomer Wave Vibes. Tonight you're calling yourself Doomer Wave Vibes. This is this individual's birthday. It's St. Patrick's Day, and the Warriors delivered that. Oh, dude, I almost feel like Stephen Curry needs to do like a whole social media campaign and do a special visit to Bloomer wherever he lives. Like show up to the house, bring some balloons, maybe a cake, maybe a signed basketball, some kicks. Poor guy or girl. I actually don't know what the gender is, but that sucks. Oh, Mitchell and Ness, by the way, giving you some love.
Thank you.
Mitchell and Ness, A+
Thank
analysis.
you.
Tonight.
And happy birthday to that other individual.
I know, that's rough.
Yeah, maybe,
That's
I don't know. The night's not over. Maybe, I don't know, get some cookies from Insomnia or something.
A gamer F2P is saying that I refuse to read Kevon Looney's season stats. Who said I refuse to do that? I just, if you've been writing it in the chat, I just missed it. I apologize. This is where it is beneficial to A, be a golden dazer, because your comments are all highlighted. And B, if you really want me to get a message, that's where the pay chats help, but you don't have to pay. I'm not asking for that. Okay, so I'm going to read them to you right now, because apparently Kevon Looney's season stats are on the minds of certain individuals. And Kevon Looney on the year. Ryan, what are your thoughts on this, man? 4.9 points per game, 6.5 rebounds per game. That's got to be among like the team leaders in just 15.6 minutes per game, shooting 51% from the field. He hasn't made a single three-pointer this season. His three-point percentage is 0. He's only made 57.3% of his free throws. Ryan, what's your reaction to Kevon Looney's season stats?
I mean, kind of mediocre, but that kind of just goes in line with his playing time. I mean, he got 15 minutes tonight. He hasn't played a lot. I mean, I think when you don't play a lot, could you really expect a lot? You know?
Do you think it's Sophia? Do you think it's crazy that Kevon Looney plays just 15.6 minutes per game, which is, I want to actually do the math on this. So he's 14th on the Warriors in minutes. Technically 12th because Wiggins and Dennis Schroeder are no longer with the team, and DeAnthony Melton. Okay, so take those three out, and Kevon Looney is 11th on the Warriors in minutes, but first in rebounding at 6.5. Is this why Gamer FTP you wanted me to look at these? I mean, that is kind of interesting. Your thoughts, Sophia?
I mean, that's the one thing I would say he's always reliable in, is he'll come into the game and he'll get those rebounds. He definitely is good about just sucking up anything that comes off the rim, but with the minutes and how many he's played, or kind of what he averages for the season, I'd say it's on par and it makes sense. He was getting, I would say, heavier minutes at the beginning of the season, but especially with the transition of Quentin Post into the rotation more, this game was a little bit of an outlier, but with Quentin Post kind of picking up the majority of Kevon Looney's minutes recently, that makes sense.
Ryan, is it a good or bad thing that Kevon Looney leads the Warriors in rebounding?
I would say it's bad. I mean, I think they need more rebound. I mean, it's interesting. They gave Draymond Green his props tonight for passing 6,000 rebounds, and he had 6 boards tonight. But the Warriors have always been kind of a small team, in my opinion, and that's why they struggle in getting, more rebounds, because they just don't have the size. Yeah.
Well, let's go through the scoreboard. So the Lakers won, which sucks because the Warriors are trying to catch them. Here's a good result for the Golden State Warriors. Had a good result, Sophia, for your dad. The Sacramento Kings defeated the Memphis Grizzlies tonight at Golden One Center, 132-122. Sacramento improves to 34-33. Memphis drops to 43-26. So that means we're going to look at the standings in just a second, but that means that the Warriors have gained, or I'm sorry, they have not fallen back further behind the Grizzlies. So that's good news. Any reaction from that, Sophia, in regards to Sacramento?
The Kings needed a really good pick-me-up win, and I think that this one was a really good one, and the Kings can remain, or they can still have their play-in hopes alive, and it's a good win beating the Grizzlies. They're always a tough team to compete against, and so for, like you mentioned, there to be no further separation created between the Grizzlies and Warriors tonight is a positive.
It is. Now, unfortunately, there is separation added between the Warriors and the Rockets. Houston defeated Philadelphia tonight at home, 144-137. Talk about a high-scoring affair. Jalen Green, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 13 assists in the win. Houston improves to 44-25. Quentin Grimes for the 76ers. In case you folks forgot about him, he had scored a career-high 44 points against Golden State a couple weeks ago. He passed that. He set a new career high tonight, scoring 46 points and dropping 13 rebounds. That's another, add that to the list of Nico Mannion. Wait, what's that guy's name? The GM of the Mavericks? I was about to say Nico Mannion, but that's
Nico Harrison.
Nico Harrison, thank you. Yeah, but add that to the list of Nico Harrison, another player that he traded away, and he's like just dropping bombs for Philly, 46-13. Damn. Any reaction? No. All right.
I mean, it's kind of nice
he's a good player. I mean, didn't he have that game against the Warriors where he scored like 40-something points?
Yeah, I just said that. Yeah, he had 44 against the Warriors, which was his career high, and then he passed that tonight with 46. And the last game that we're going to talk about tonight, and that is in overtime. The Indiana Pacers, 132-130 winners over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Obi Toppin, I haven't seen the highlights of this, but he reportedly hit a game winner to win it for Indy on the road. This game was in Minnesota. Obi Toppin, 34 points, 10 rebounds in the win. Anthony Edwards, 38 points in the loss. Minnesota drops to 40-30. Indiana 38-29. So there you go, and then I'll share the standings, and then we'll call it a night. A brutal loss. Bloomer Vibes, by the way, it's his birthday, and Coast to Coast, I see your page chat. I'll answer in just a second, but Bloomer Vibes, who's calling himself tonight Doomer Way Vibes, clarifying the gender, he's a guy, and saying thank you, Cyrus, Sophia, Ryan Leong. At least seeing you guys helped my night. Much love. And one more time, folks, it's his birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Cakes
That's
and
brutal.
candles.
That's brutal. Oh, what a brutal loss. So at a bare minimum, maybe Obi Toppin knew it was his birthday and made that shot for him. All right, so we go to the standings now. Last but not least, let me set this up. ESPN did a little tinkering with their website.
Why don't you
No
NBA,
one cares.
NBA's pretty good.
No, I'm good, but it's just I was talking out loud mostly. They made a little change. All right, here we go. So the Golden State Warriors, thankfully, are still the 6th seed, 39-29. They are tied with the Minnesota Timberwolves, but they are a game ahead in the loss column. So the Warriors are 39-29, Minnesota 40-30. Sophia, I'll start with you. The Warriors are currently 3.5 back of both Memphis and the LA Lakers. LA is the 4 seed. Minnesota is the 5 seed. Denver is the 3 seed. And that just one of many reasons why this loss tonight stung. The Warriors could have really climbed the ladder here. Houston is now the 2 seed yet again. Sophia, I'll start with you. Where do you see the Warriors ending up in this madness? Because it is wholly unpredictable. It's entertaining. What do you think's going to happen?
After this loss and the potential talks just of players being tired and potentially taking games off to rest, I don't know if the Warriors are going to catch the fifth and fourth seed. I think they'll most likely remain in that sixth seed.
What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I think so too. I don't see the Warriors getting out of the sixth seed. I mean, hopefully that's fine. Because if they stay in the sixth seed, they don't have to worry about the play-in tournament.
What are your thoughts of G, who writes in the chat, the Warriors have no answer
I agree.
for Nikola Jokic, and they have no answer for Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon beat the piss out of the Warriors tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Do the Warriors have a shot against this team? Sophia?
No. Well, sorry.
Oh, well, no, Ryan, I love that. Okay, so Ryan with a hard no. Just a flat out, just the season's done. Sophia, what do you think?
I mean, if anyone can take a positive from this game as well, and the fact that Denver won, they still have a shot to climb into that 2 seed, which I'm looking at as a positive, because I think if the Warriors match up with the Rockets, that's a series I would love to see, and I think the Warriors have a great shot. With that being said, I don't want to see the Nuggets in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. They just outsize and out-hustle the Warriors. I mean, tonight's game was so indicative of the fact that the Warriors were just out-hustled, just like crazy on this game.
Well, I say for 3/4 of the game tonight, the Warriors were getting beat in terms of effort, and that's embarrassing, dude. That's inexcusable. But you're absolutely right. I wholeheartedly agree with you.
And then every chance the Warriors got to get within like 10, then the Nuggets pretty soon would bump it back up to 13 to 15 points.
Let's listen to one last soundbite before we go. This is Jimmy Butler. Who, side note, Ryan, can you answer this for me? Like, Jimmy never goes into the interview room. Like, we haven't seen him do one press conference at the table. He's always like standing to the side. Like, why does he do that?
That I don't know. Unless he just doesn't want to. Maybe he just wants to talk to certain people, and only certain people have wristbands for tier 1 access.
Right.
So maybe that's what he wants. Maybe he just wants that. So that's whatever. I mean, that's his right. I mean, I think as long as he's talking to the beat guys or beat reporters, I don't think then there's nothing to complain about.
That is interesting. Well, yeah, because all I ever see him doing interviews in is this room or this setting. Where is this, by the way? Is this like near the interview room, or
I'm guessing it's in the locker room in the corner. I think. I think.
The locker room has those wall placards, like those.
I haven't seen exactly. I mean, I haven't really been back there, to be honest, especially since COVID. So I don't know exactly where it is. Like, I'll ask one of the writers later, just out of curiosity.
But I always, please do, if you don't mind, please do, because I always see Jimmy Butler there doing interviews, and I'm just always thinking to myself, why is he there and not at the podium? And you're right, it could be that my thinking is he comes out so late to do interviews.
Yeah, that's part of it. But if he's only asking, if he's only being interviewed by tier 1 media, then that means he's only being interviewed by the beat writers primarily, and maybe like Gareth Burke, and that's it.
So maybe it's strategic.
Yeah, I think so.
That's crazy. Okay. All right. Well, here is Jimmy Butler. Turn the volume up, please, on your devices, because this was recorded on a phone, so it's not going to be as good. But here's Jimmy Butler. And again, the theme of all these questions is fatigue. Is Steph exhausted? Is the team tired? Here's Jimmy Butler talking about that topic.
Exhausted. Do you see him having wearing down a little bit?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's wearing down, but it's okay to be tired, and that's on myself and that's on us as a unit to pick up the slack for him. He's, as everybody wants to think that he is superhuman, he is not. He is our leader, and we must protect him at all times. I will tell you that. So that's on myself for sure, but everybody else to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing and give my man a break.
How can you do that?
Make sure that we don't turn the ball over, one. Make sure we get a shot on goal. Make sure we get a good shot on goal at that. And execute. I think whenever you execute and get the ball where it needs to go, that's my job more than anybody's. And maybe Dre's. His job's a lot easier. You took it.
That dude has such a high basketball IQ. He clearly knows what he's talking about. Sophia, your reaction to Jimmy Butler's comments right there?
Yeah, it reminds me of moments as a player when I don't know, you just got done running like 10 suicides on punishment in practice, and the coach goes up to some of the players and asks, "Oh, well, are you tired?" Obviously, we're tired, and I think it's okay for athletes to admit that they're tired. It
Yeah.
happens. Seasons are long. And so for Jimmy Butler to say that is, I mean, it's self-evident. We saw it tonight. Steph clearly didn't look the same, but his analysis as to why or what can help kind of combat giving Steph some of that rest is spot on. I mean, you can really see where his leadership shines through in moments like that when he talks about, shots on goal or limit some of those turnovers, because those really are some things that hurt the Warriors a lot.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Ryan, you expressed concerns before the Jimmy Butler trade about his attitude, his personality. I think the word you used specifically was you don't want a diva coming to the Bay Area and permeating that toxicity behind the scenes. Butler tonight, 8 of 16 shooting from the field, was 1 of 4 shooting from 3. He's never been notorious as a 3-point shooter. The free throws were a disappointment because, again, we mentioned this before, 83% from the line on the season tonight, just 6 of 10. He did have 8 rebounds, 6 assists, added 2 steals, a block, did have 2 turnovers, was a -9 in net rating. 23 points, led the team in scoring tonight. Maybe he should be our player of the game. We haven't actually determined that. But before we go, are you happier with Jimmy Butler now that he's here? Like, because I'm not getting the diva vibe. What's your reaction to Jimmy Butler now that we're like a few weeks in? You're muted.
The video we're playing. Yeah, I was gonna say that it's interesting. He sounded like a hockey player there, talking about shots on goal. But yeah,
I noticed that too. Good catch. Yeah, good catch on that.
No, he definitely sounds like a leader. And if they are going to give Steph a night off, then I think it's going to have to be him and other guys to step up and try to pick up the slack if he indeed doesn't play. Because right now, I looked at the injury report. Giannis is going to play tomorrow night, it looks like. So the Warriors could be in a lot of trouble because there's another big guy that's going to overpower the Warriors pretty easily, I think. The Warriors just don't have size. I mean, they just don't. But they're a team that's always kind of been that way. They have to rely on their guile and being scrappy to get rebounds.
Yeah.
And I think that's been the strength of Draymond's career. Draymond has done that. But, he was 1 rebound less than Kevon Looney. But they're going to need more of that. I mean, they're just going to need a lot of scrappy play tomorrow night if they're going to try to pick up the slack without number 30 in there.
They have a history of success against Milwaukee over the past few years, which is, if there's any good news, it's that. Coast to Coast, before we go, dropping $9.99. Writing, been telling people to barrel because the Warriors have a tendency to lose against non-starters. I think the gist of what he's trying to say is that the Warriors play to the level of the competition, meaning if the other team is playing reserves and Jokic is off, the Warriors are going to lower the intensity and match that. Jokic and Murray didn't even play, and the Warriors' excuse is they're tired. It's the lamest excuse. I agree. Let's finish on this note.
Aaron Gordon did say that in the locker room, by the way. I did ask him that. He said he thinks that the Warriors may have taken their foot off the gas.
Did the Warriors what?
That the Warriors took their foot off the gas because those guys weren't playing.
That's wow. I wish you said that at the beginning. He really said that, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that explains a lot, man. I'm really believing the hangover hype. Like, it does make a ton of sense. Ryan, were you here for that when we talked about the potential reason why the Warriors were so fatigued is because after Stephen Curry hit the 4,000 mark, they celebrated. They were drinking wine, and maybe the hangover carried over to tonight.
That was the game on Thursday, right? They did that on Thursday.
The theory is, you're right, and it is Monday. The theory is that because Steph and Dre are so much older now, the hangovers are multi-day.
Could be. I mean, I will say this. I mean, they played a pretty hard-fought game against the Knicks, right? So, actually, they did play a hard-fought game against the Knicks. So, those games do add up. And I just think it's really tough because, again, they got a back-to-back. They got to play. We're going to be right here talking in 24 hours. So, it's like no time to rest. This isn't baseball. So, when you play back-to-backs in basketball, it's tough. Imagine playing back-to-backs in hockey.
I can't imagine that. I really can't. Imagine playing back-to-back in the NFL. Monday Night Football, Tuesday night, What? Sophia, any final thoughts as we wrap up the show tonight?
You know, I think I had seen Bruce Morrow say it earlier in the chat where the finals for the unrivaled women's basketball professional 3-on-3 league was better basketball than what we saw tonight. And I think that completely encapsulated kind of my feelings right now. And the Warriors could use a little Chelsea Gray, which if people are unfamiliar with Chelsea Gray, absolutely need to watch some highlights. But I don't know. Sometimes teams just have a stinker, and the Warriors had a stinker tonight.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
It did. It happens. It just sucks that it was Denver of all teams, you know? Like, why couldn't they have the stinker against Brooklyn or, you know, some... Yeah, it's 9 in a row they've lost to Denver now. April 4th will be a chance for the Warriors to snap that slide. Here's where it gets really rough, though. That April 4th game, the season finale between the Warriors and the Nuggets in the regular season, it's the second of a back-to-back. The Warriors, the day before that game, play the Lakers in L.A. Why is the NBA doing this? Like they have a back-to-back where it would have been Jokic and Giannis if Jokic had played, and then 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, it's the Lakers in L.A. The very next night, the Nuggets at home. How is that fair? That is insane to me. Anyways,
yeah, it's not fair.
Brian, your final thoughts, brother, before we go.
No, it's not fair. I mean, the Warriors better figure it out fast, though. Like I said, they got to sleep quick, man. They don't have a lot of time to rest and recover. So better do some. I mean, I'm sure Steve Kerr tonight is going to be looking at video because they've got to figure out a way to get it to improve on this game. They just laid an egg tonight.
Well, this sucked. There's no way to spin it. Bloomer vibes. Happy birthday. Anybody else who has a St. Patty's Day birthday and you're a Warriors fan, that sucked. Please don't let that ruin your special day, okay? Try to have fun regardless. Push past it. Do what Stephen Curry would do. Move on. Stay in the present and just focus on the next task at hand. So, but that sucked. Sophia, you're incredible as always. People can follow you on Twitter at Sophia Jones_2. Anything else you want to promote or mention before we call it a wrap?
No, just happy birthday again. Shout out to all my Pisces.
Ryan, any final thoughts? People can follow you on Twitter at Ryan Leong. Super easy. I didn't show your banner tonight. I apologize for that. But you're part of Bay Area Sports Wrap. You're part of NBC News Radio and so much more. Anything you want to promote before we call it a wrap tonight?
No, that's it, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Beautiful. And yes, tomorrow night, we're right back at this.
Right back at
Warriors and Bucks. That game suddenly has way more importance after tonight's loss. So we'll be back at this in less than 24 hours. You two, I love you. I genuinely do. You two are phenomenal individuals. Thank you. It's an honor. It's a pleasure to just be associated with you both, let alone call you friends. So thank you very much. And thank you to the audience. Go Warriors. That sucked, but what are you going to do? Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.